Mike Florio knows all these things. Mike, who would benefit from leaking this information about the contract and the addendum with Kyler Murray?
Agents who represent other quarterbacks. Basically, that's how I got it. Once the contract is signed, it goes to the league office, it goes to the union. Other people have access to it. Other people will take it, copy and paste it, and send it to people like me who would be interested in writing a story about it, talking about it. It's interesting. It's news. It's unprecedented. No one's ever had a clause like this. So that's how it gets out. And this was a failure by the team and by the agent to understand how the dominoes were going to fall. This is going to come out. It's going to make Kyler Murray look like he doesn't study hard enough, and it's going to make the Cardinals look worse for paying him all that money, recognizing that they think he doesn't study hard enough. So it was a failure across the board. It's smart that they got rid of it, and now they hope they can repair the damage. Dan, this damage may be permanent. It may be a situation where a year or two from now, Kyler Murray just decides, I want out of Arizona. That it drives a wedge that can never be repaired between player and team.
Now, what you're saying is an agent, not Kyler Murray's agent, gave you this contract, or at least the addendum, or you had access to that.
I'm always uncomfortable delving into my very complicated high-level process for gathering information as I ferret through dumpsters looking for pieces of paper that I can put back together, shredded, like in Argo, where they recollected all that. No. People who want stuff out will give it to reporters, and they have different reasons for wanting it out.
But the agents have access to all the contracts?
Agents have access to these. Agents have access to these contracts. Okay. People with other teams have access to these contracts. Okay. People who saw this contract would want it to get out there because they knew it was going to create a mess for Murray, his agent, and the Cardinals. There's going to be clear incentive to get it out there. That's the way this business works. People like to cause problems for others. It's competitive at every level and in every way. However, Dan, at the same time that someone was giving it to me with the idea that it's going to be put out there for people to see what it is and reach their own conclusions, I do think Murray's camp, recognizing, oh crap, this is going to be put out there maybe by somebody who puts a negative spin on it. Let's try to get it out there in a way that puts a positive spin on it. And we saw Ian Rappaport of NFL Media try to put all due respect, I like Ian, but it was kind of a ridiculously positive spin on this unprecedented term that required Kyler Murray to put in 4 hours a week during the season of film study. So there are different motivations and different reasons. But yeah, information gets put out there because people have a broader agenda that they want to accomplish.
Did Kyler help himself yesterday with that unscheduled press conference?
I don't know that he helped himself or he hurt himself. I just think that the unscheduled press conference highlights the problem. The problem is between him and the team. If he's mad at anybody here, it's the team and or his agent.
Yeah.
Somebody should have worked together to realize what this was going to do and who it was going to make look bad. To the extent that he believes it's disrespectful to think that he doesn't work hard enough, that ultimately is on Michael Bidwell, the owner of the Cardinals. Because, Dan, before Monday, nobody was saying Kyler Murray doesn't work hard enough. Nobody was questioning whether it wasn't an issue. It wasn't a talking point. The Cardinals, by insisting on this clause, made it a thing. They made it an issue. And yes, the agent should have said no. But let me take up for Eric Burkhardt here. Because yes, he should have done everything in his power to get Michael Bidwell to take this clause out. But think about what happens if the Cardinals' position is, we're not giving you this contract unless you accept this term. He walks away from $46.1 million per year. He makes only $5 million this year and kicks it forward to next year. And then who knows what happens next year. Look what happened to Baker Mayfield when he didn't get a contract in Cleveland before his fourth season. It could all fall apart. And Dan, I guarantee you, someone from the Cardinals would have leaked to someone in the media. Kyler Murray walked away from 46-1 because he didn't want to agree to only 4 hours a week of film study. It would have made him look even worse than the clause itself made him look. And that's what they were looking at. And that tells me that these two sides should just not be doing business together. If that's how dysfunctional it is, what the hell are you doing with a 7-year contractual commitment?
DK Metcalf got paid by Seattle. What's that mean for Deebo Samuel's contract?
Well, it's very easy because it's the same agent. Tory Dandy of CAA representing both guys. You take it into Jed York and you cross out DK Metcalf.
But if you have same price,
give me the same deal.
Who do you want? Who do you want out of those two? Same price.
I want DK Metcalf because I think DK Metcalf has untapped potential because they don't use him the way that they should. This is one of Sim's big criticisms of the Seahawks. It's just run down the field and get open.
Well,
DK.
I want him to use him like they used Debo in San Francisco. He had 3 carries, I think, in his career.
Exactly. He's more valuable, I think, potentially than Debo if you use him like Debo. But I'd take either guy. I think either guy can transform an offense and make up for a not great quarterback. But Dan, here's my hot take on the DK Metcalf contract. I'm stunned that the Seahawks only asked for a 3-year extension on the existing 1-year deal. I think that this is a circumstantial piece of evidence that his next contract will be for the next owner of the team, that this team's going to be sold between now and the time that DK Metcalf's contract is up for renegotiation.
Okay.
That's my hot take.
Okay. Hot take there. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
As long as that's the fire truck and not the police car, I'm fine with that.
Okay. Do you want in on our Drew Lock over-under touchdown passes this year? Do you want to be with Fritzy or do you want to be with the rest of us? Now, pie to the face attached to this. By the way, did you get your pie to the face?
Is this double or nothing? Can I do a double or nothing pie to the face?
When do you get your pie to the face, Mike?
Seton bailed me out because the whole thing was Tom Brady, 49ers quarterback week 1. And as Seton pointed out, until week 1 actually arrives and Tom Brady's not the quarterback of the 49ers, the bet isn't official.
Okay, so week 1 on this show. So Monday, after that game, after Brady plays against the Cowboys, then you'll do a pie to the face.
I'll do a pie to the face.
Okay. Here's the over-under touchdown passes for Drew Lock this year. Was it 19, Fritzy?
Yeah, I said 19, so I guess you're going 18 and a half.
Okay, so would you go over-under Drew Lock 19 touchdown passes this year?
I'm going to go under.
Okay.
Because I think Geno Smith's going to be the week 1 starter. I think Pete Carroll wants to prove that he can win with Russell Wilson's backup. That Wilson wanted out because he didn't like the system. He didn't like that they weren't making him the centerpiece of the offense. And I think that Geno Smith is going to be the week 1 starter as of right now.
Okay. So you're going under. All right.
I'll go under.
Fritzy went over. Who's the worst team in the NFL?
Well, there are 3 teams in the AFC that I would call not contenders: the Jets, the Jaguars, and the Texans. I would say probably the Texans as of right now, because of their circumstance. If they're in the NFC, you at least have a chance because beyond the Buccaneers, the Rams, and the Packers, it's wide open. I think it would probably be the Texans right now. I still don't know whether they're all in with Davis Mills or whether this is just kind of a full season tank to position themselves to draft a franchise quarterback next year. And I have them as one of the teams, Dan, that I'm keeping an eye on maybe for Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't think they're going to be able to trade Garoppolo. I think he's going to get cut, and then somebody's going to make a move to try to sign him.
Mike Florio, Pro Football Talk Live co-host. Lamar Jackson, so you've got a couple of contracts to play off of. Deshaun Watson, Kyler Murray. Is Lamar Jackson going to be the highest paid player in football?
I used to say that he badly needs an agent, but if the agent means you get a homework clause in your contract, maybe it is better to be doing it on your own. Dan, it was so weird. A year ago, the narrative was Lamar's too busy. He's too focused on football. And there was a long period of time where the Ravens were ready and he wasn't. Now he is. But as John Harbaugh, the coach of the team, said yesterday, he's kind of busy. He's in practice all day. When do we really work on this deal? I think there's a chance that the Ravens put the best offer they have on the table and Lamar says, no, thank you. Like what happened 10 years ago with Joe Flacco. Now, Flacco had an agent, but the Ravens said, here's our best offer as Flacco entered the last year of his rookie contract. Yeah. Flacco said, no, thanks. Super Bowl win, Super Bowl MVP, highest paid player in the NFL after that season. I think Lamar may have to say no in order to become the highest paid player. Because right now, Aaron Rodgers is the highest at north of $50 million a year. I don't think they're going to go that far. And I think this whole 5-year full guarantee, the Deshaun Watson thing. Now, the Cardinals didn't do it with Kyler Murray. I think one of the reasons is the team doesn't have the ability to put $170 million in escrow because that's what you have to do if you guarantee that much money. But maybe Jackson pushes for that. maybe he pushes for something else. The problem is when you don't have an agent as the go-between, it makes it so awkward for both sides. I think there's a good chance they just don't get a deal done, and it gets delayed until after the season.
The owner who is jeopardizing his ownership more, Daniel Snyder or Stephen Ross? Which one do you think is running the risk of losing his team?
Ross, because I think the league would be more inclined to go after him than they would be to go after Snyder. I think they're afraid of Snyder. I think they know that he would fight in any court in the land, including courts in other countries. He had a pending lawsuit in India, for crying out loud, over a defamation claim that he made. Ross, and we don't know where this stands. The investigation the league was conducting into the allegation from former Dolphins coach Brian Flores that Ross was offering $100,000 per loss in 2019. I asked the league about it recently, no update. Well, what's taken so long? You've got a small handful of people to talk to. Brian Flores, I'm told, fully cooperated with the league back in April. You've got potential corroborating evidence. At one point, the league reported through NFL Network that there's an unnamed witness that says, yeah, I heard him say it. So I just think, Dan, if there wasn't litigation from Brian Flores that specifically tied this allegation to one of his theories against the Dolphins, we'd probably have a decision by now. My point is this. If the league believes he did it, if we ever get to the point where the league says, yeah, he did it, I think he's out. And I don't think they have any qualm about fighting him because he won't fight back the way Snyder would.
And then Brady leaves Tampa and then becomes the part owner of the Miami Dolphins next year.
Well, hey, if Stephen Ross goes down, Bruce Beal may go down as well. And Beal is the Brady connection to the Dolphins.
Okay.
So if that happens, then Brady's got to go to the 49ers.
In week one.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike.
I didn't say which year.
Yeah.
That may be my other way out of this.
By the way, Seaton's working on his Kyler Murray impersonation. That's it.
It sounded like Beavis.
Yes, it did.
Exactly.
Yes,
or Butthead.
Yes.
I think that was Butthead.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you,
Well
Mike.
done.
Thank you, Mike. It's Mike Florio, Pro Football Talk Live co-host. He's taking the under there, Fritzy. Drew Lock.
He says Lock won't even be the starting quarterback.
He's not a lock to start.
How do you throw 19 touchdown passes if you're not even going to start?